Julius Caesar, a great and powerful leader of ancient Rome like no other, a great man whose life came to a tragic end by the hands of his own allies, where he was literally stabbed in the back 23 times. He would create a legacy that would never be forgotten. He would be remembered by a salad, a cheap pizza joint, and most importantly, one of William Shakespeare's most heralded plays, appropriately named Julius Caesar. Today I would like to talk to you about that very play, but first, let us delve into some history of Shakespeare. William Shakespeare's assumed birthday is April 23rd, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire, England. It is his alleged birthday because his real birthday was never actually recorded, but what is recorded is the date of his christening, which was usually performed exactly 3 days after birth. He had 3 brothers and 4 sisters, but his 2 elder siblings did not make it through childhood, and other than that, not much is known of them. He attended school in Stratford until around age 15, and at age 18, he married his wife Anne Hathaway. William and Anne had 3 children, Susanna, Hamnet, and Judith. Hamnet would only live to age 11. The next 7 years of Shakespeare's life are shrouded in mystery, unknown and undocumented. The only thing that is known is that he moved to London and started moving his way up in the theater world. He was writing for the Lord Chamberlain's men, and this is where his career really started to pick up. He wrote famous works such as Hamlet, Macbeth, and Romeo and Juliet, and in 1599, the production of Julius Caesar began. There are many contributing characters in the play Julius Caesar, but for simplicity, I will only go over a few. Julius Caesar is actually not the main character, but he is still very important, as he is the main cause of discourse in the play. He is a supreme leader of Rome like no other, and a truly great man. The real main character of Julius Caesar is actually Brutus, an honorable man close to Caesar. He loves Caesar, but ultimately thinks his demise is what is best for Rome. Cassius is another man close to Caesar, but unlike Brutus, he has not fully earned Caesar's trust, and Cassius most certainly does not trust Caesar either, as he is the main advocator for his downfall. Lastly, Mark Antony is Caesar's right-hand man, and is loyal to Caesar no matter what, even in his death. The play starts off after another victorious battle for Rome. Most are celebrating in the streets, but some are plotting in the shadows and are having their doubts about how Caesar is controlling the empire. Brutus is one of these people, as he's unsure if Caesar is doing what is best for Rome. Cassius further persuades him by sending him a letter saying how Brutus is just as great as Caesar and how Rome needs a new leader. This convinces Brutus to get rid of Caesar. Meanwhile, Caesar has seen various symbolisms around Rome telling him that danger is brewing, including a warning from an old man and his wife telling him he should stay home. After this, he decides that he will not go to the Senate and will stay home instead, for he might be in grave danger. One of the conspirators, Decius, goes to Caesar and convinces him to go to the Senate despite the various warning signs. At the Senate, the conspirators jump Caesar all at once, stabbing him in the back and killing him. They have a proper memorial right after his death to honor what a great leader he was, but also for the conspirators to explain why they felt the need to kill Caesar. Mark Antony fakes being on the side of Brutus and demands that he speaks at the memorial of Caesar. At the memorial, Brutus gives a powerful speech to bring the people on his side, saying that Brutus is their new powerful leader, but when Antony takes the stage, he swings the audience back on his side, stating that they should defend Caesar's legacy and honor him. At this point, 2 sides have been established, that led by Brutus and that led by Mark Antony. Next, Mark Antony discusses what he thinks should happen to the conspirators, and they begin to prepare for war. On the other side, Brutus and Cassius have a small dispute. That is resolved, and they come out stronger than ever, also prepared for a war. War ensues, and Brutus' army is split up. One side is led by Brutus, and the other is led by Cassius. This is where my performed part of the play comes in. This is taken out of Act 5, Scene 3, where Cassius believes that Brutus' side and his best friend Titinius have fallen, so he asks his slave Pindarus to execute him with the sword that killed Caesar.
Go, Pindarus, get higher on that hill. My sight was ever thick. Regard Titinius. Tell me what thou noted about the field. This day I breathed first, my time has come round, and where I did begin, there I shall end. My life is run his compass. Sirrah, what news? Titinius is enclosed and round about by horsemen that make it to him on the spur. Yet he spurs on. Oh, they're almost on him. Now Titinius, now some light. Oh, he lights too. He's taken. And hark! They shout for joy! Come down, behold no more. Oh, coward that I am, that I lived so long, to see my best friend taken before my face. Come hither, sirrah. In Parthia I took thee prisoner, and I swore to thee, in saving of thy life, that whatsoever I did bid thee do, that you shouldest attempt it. Now come here. Keep thine oath. Now be a free man. Take this good sword that ran through Caesar's bowels, and search this bosom. Stand not to answer. Here, take thou the hilts, and when my face is covered as 'tis now, guide thou the sword. Caesar, thou art revenged, even with the sword that killed thee.
After this performed section, it is revealed that Brutus has not actually fallen, and the men that surrounded Titinius and cheered were allies, and they were celebrating a victory on Brutus's side of the battlefield. Brutus's side continues to fight through the loss of Cassius, but they feel as they are being overwhelmed by Mark Antony's forces without Cassius to lead. Brutus eventually asks his men to retreat, as it is not possible for them to overcome Mark Antony, and he accepts defeat. Brutus ends up killing himself to die honorably and avoid capture. The play ends. I chose this section to perform as it is a turning point in the war between Brutus and Mark Antony. Without Cassius, they are unable to defend the other side and cannot win. It also displays the confusion and miscommunication of war at this time, and taking the honorable way out instead of dying to enemy forces. A main theme that I found in the play was that of morality versus what is good in the long run. This is shown in the debate of whether or not to kill Caesar. It is obviously not normal to assassinate the leader of your empire, but did it need to be done? Would it be better for the people of Rome to have Caesar dead before he becomes too powerful and too controlling? And does that become more important than staying moral? Fate is another theme that is presented in the play. This basically means that what happens in the future is completely out of one's control. Caesar was destined to be assassinated, and many things were pointing to that outcome leading up to his death. The various signs he saw, the old man warning him of the day of the assassination, his wife not wanting him to go to the Senate, it all pointed to his inevitable demise. His assassination was a part of his future, and that was set in stone. Critics' feelings on Julius Caesar is somewhat mixed. For some, they consider it to be one of the best, most complex of William Shakespeare's plays, while others may point out faults in the second half of the play and rank it lower than most of Shakespeare's other works. An example of a negative review would be that of writer and producer Patrick Nabarro, who states that, some meaty quotations aside, Julius Caesar is one of Shakespeare's more moderate tragedies, a bit portentous and directionless after Caesar's murder, and compares it to Othello and Macbeth, saying that those are both more superior tragedies. A very differing opinion would be that of Mildred E. Hartsock, who in an article named The Complexity of Julius Caesar, says that Julius Caesar is one of Shakespeare's best because, quote, every major play has been extensively debated, to be sure, but discussions of this play have been marked by an unusual perplexity. There is little agreement about the most elementary questions. This is why Julius Caesar is so special. It defies the generic formula of having a set protagonist and antagonist, and has you guessing who the good guys and bad guys are. In my opinion, Julius Caesar is my favorite of all the Shakespeare that I have read in the past. It is different from his other tragedies in that it is not clear what side you should be cheering for. Do you root for Brutus, taking matters into his own hands, or do you sympathize with Caesar and Mark Antony and take their side in defending the throne from the conspirators? Brutus is also probably my favorite character of all the Shakespeare I have read. He's such an honorable man and truly wants what is best for Rome. That is why I think Julius Caesar is the best of Shakespeare's plays that I have read so far.